Torch Run Statehouse celebration. On behalf of Special Olympics New Hampshire and Eversource, thank you for being here to honor the incredible commitment of our law enforcement partners across the state. And now we'll light the torch.
108. Hey, Charlie, let's go. Woo! There you go. Good job, guys.
Looks like it's what? All right. To kick us off, please join me in welcoming someone who has dedicated her life to public service and inclusion, Governor Kelly Ayotte.
Well, thank you, Chris. I am so thrilled to see all of you here. Great job in bringing the torch here to Concord. Nothing makes me more proud than to see the Special Olympic torch right outside our Statehouse. And to the athletes who are here today, thank you for your great teamwork, your great spirit. And today, you really had to have a lot of grit because I know it's hot out there doing that final run. And so to everyone who's here, all the athletes and all who have joined them, thank you for backing the Special Olympics, and thanks for bringing the torch right out here in Concord because we are so proud of the Special Olympics. It is a phenomenal competition, and the best example of teamwork that you can have is to be a Special Olympian. And I'm honored to be here today with the whole group of everyone who's brought this together. Chief Levesque from Merrimack. I know we're going to hear from Katie, who's a great athlete and one of our Special Olympic athletes. But I have an honor of recognizing someone, and Mary Conroy, of course, who's like unbelievable leader. But we're also going to recognize someone today who has given his heart and soul to Special Olympics, and not just the Special Olympics, but if there's ever a person in need in his community, he is the person who always steps up. But over the years, our honoree today, Chief Doug Moorhead, who has really done an amazing job. Not only was a great police chief of Woodstock, but he's been a decades-long supporter of Special Olympics. In fact, right now, as I'm sitting here talking about him, he's over there making the burgers on the grill. Go Doug! You will never find someone who works harder for Special Olympics or has a bigger heart than Doug Moorhead. And when I think about the people that make this state great, I can tell you that Chief Moorhead is on the top of my mind because it's amazing what he does and what he has done. And not only for Special Olympics, but so many nonprofits and people in his community that he has made a difference for. This is Doug's final year with the Special Olympics, and he's earned a well-earned retirement where he's going to travel and spend time with his wife. So would you please join me in honoring and congratulating Chief Doug Moore for his years of service. And having the torch here is great. I just want to say to all the athletes, have fun in the competitions, enjoy it. I love watching you compete and all the teamwork. You're inspirational, and it's awesome to have you here.
Thank you, Governor. We are grateful for your support and leadership. Next, I'd like to share a few words about myself and about why this day and this partnership means so much to us at Eversource. We are proud to support Special Olympics in New Hampshire through events like the Penguin Plunge, Winter Olympics, and the Champions Together Breakfast. These moments represent the best of what's possible when a community comes together. So a little about my story in Special Olympics. In the past, I had a president who was on the board of the directors of Special Olympics, and he came to me and said that the Special Olympics, Mary's group, had a need for some help over at the storage facility where they store all of the equipment for all of the games. And so I went over and I met Mary, and we walked through and said, what do we need to do? I went back and I got a team of about 20 volunteers, and we went over there for the day, and we straightened out and moved equipment and furniture and built shelving. And that's been a few years now, and we've been doing that every year since then, and it's just a pleasure, and it's a great group. And as I got more involved, and of course I had known what Special Olympics New Hampshire was, but I hadn't been involved. And that got myself involved more, and I kept meeting with Mary, and now I lead up for Eversource, our Winter Games. Last year I think we had around 170 volunteers up there. We do the Penguin Plunge, we do the breakfast as he said, but also I had the honor of joining the board of Special Olympics last year. So thank you, Mary. So Eversource works hand in hand with public safety professionals, and we share a deep commitment to serve service, safety, and community. The Law Enforcement Torch Run reflects all of these values, and we're honored to stand shoulder to shoulder with our law enforcement partners. Now, I have the pleasure of introducing someone who truly lives this partnership every day. Please welcome Chief Brian LeVake, Law Enforcement Torch Run Director and Chief of the Merrimack Police Department.
Thank you, Chris. First, give yourselves a hand for breaking that run in the hot weather today. Great job, runners. Great job. The Law Enforcement Torch Run was brought to New Hampshire in 1985 by Chief Stan Stevens, and 2025 marks 41 years of this incredible tradition. Since that time, law enforcement has across the state has raised over $7.8 million for Special Olympics in New Hampshire. Last year alone, 126 agencies, 847 officers joined the run, covering more than 600 miles and raising a record-breaking $530,000. I think we need to applause for that. That's big money there. My personal stories: when I was a rookie officer, one of my senior officers, Mike Murray, got me involved in Special Olympics. And the first time I did the awards, I was hooked to see the joy on the athletes' faces when they received the award, to see how happy they were to see you, to high-five you. And personally, one of the first awards I did was awarding a participation ribbon for an athlete, and then seeing the parents crying behind their athlete because they finally belong to something. So this is why I do what I do every day. It's a great program. Law enforcement's hard work. Most time we show up in people's lives during their worst days. We don't get to do this job for praise, and we rarely hear thank you. But events like this and other Special Olympic athlete events remind us of why we do what we do, and this is the best law enforcement therapy there is. There are so many ways to stay involved. Join us to present awards at Summer Games. Sign up for the Heroes Baseball Cup, or help us promote our Pick Your Prize raffle this summer. Every effort helps, and every connection matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief LeVake. Next, I'd like to introduce someone who's been with Special Olympics New Hampshire for more than 30 years and has stood with law enforcement throughout that time. Please welcome our President and CEO, Mary Conroy.
So, thank you. Thank you for believing in our athletes, and thank you for doing all you do through the Law Enforcement Torch Run to enhance our program and to enhance our opportunities to provide for our Special Olympics athletes. So, I have worked for Special Olympics since Christ was a corporal, and I have had opportunities to interact with many different groups of folks. And I have found the greatest pleasure in my professional career in building relationships with law enforcement. And it was just such a great opportunity to meet a group of folks that I don't often interact with. But law enforcement changes lives daily, but they enhance the lives of our Special Olympics athletes. For our guys to be able to say, hey, there's my friend, Officer Smith in Tilton, that is just a really, really important part of our athletes' experience. I also have some very, very exciting news about the Law Enforcement Torch Run. So the Torch Run this year, 2024, has raised more than $500,000. Take a second, $500,000. Awesome job. impossible for us to do what we do without the support. To date, law enforcement has raised nearly $8 million to benefit the athletes of Special Olympics New Hampshire. We have 120. We have 126 agencies that are actively involved with our organization, and 847 officers have given of their time. Law Enforcement Torch Run is more than a fundraiser. It's a connection between law enforcement and athletes that builds empathy, promotes inclusion, and elevates both communities. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mary. And now it's my honor to welcome to the mic someone who truly embodies the spirit of Special Olympics. Please welcome Special Olympics New Hampshire athlete Katie Ambrosio.
Whoops. Hello, my name is Katie Ambrosio, and I am a 30-year-old Special Olympics New Hampshire athlete. When I was little, I had trouble with fine motor skills and was delayed in my development. When other kids were starting to use scissors and markers, I had a harder time. I was diagnosed with Asperger's when I was 8 years old. I was also diagnosed with nonverbal learning disorder, which basically just means I do not pick up on social cues as well as others. I also had low muscle tone, so sports were difficult for me to participate in. I have been very lucky to have a supportive family, especially my parents. In first grade, I was the only kid in my class who did not play soccer. My father could tell I was feeling left out, so he bought me a soccer ball to help strengthen my muscle tone. My parents also enrolled me in karate and dancing classes. I enjoyed the classes, especially dance, but had a hard time keeping up. In middle school, I started cross-country running and joined the cheerleading squad for people with disabilities. In high school, I became involved with theater and music groups. I was more of an artsy kid. I had heard about Special Olympics over the years, but thought I wasn't qualified because I am on the higher end of the autism spectrum. However, a friend recommended that I reach out directly to Special Olympics New Hampshire, who welcomed me with open arms. I have been involved since June 2024. The first sport I did was golf, a sport I can enjoy with my father. I also participate in bowling, track and field, and basketball. I had bowled with friends, but had never competed, and golf is completely different from mini golf. In the future, I would like to compete at either Special Olympics USA or World Games. In addition to improving my athletic skills, I have made a lot of friends in Special Olympics, like Carolyn and Josh. My team, the Derry Recreation Timberwolves, have been so kind and welcoming to me, and now some of my teammates come and welcome me to cheer me on at shows my theater group puts on. I have also recently trained as a New Hampshire Special Olympics New Hampshire athlete leader. Outside of Special Olympics, I work as a certified nursing assistant and get to care about even more people with Special Olympics. And what it's great is they care for me too. My quality of life and health are very important to me, which is why I'm so very happy to be a part of Special Olympics New Hampshire. Thanks for listening to my story.
All right, let's give another round of applause for Katie, please. And now to close out our formal remarks, please welcome the Chair of the Board of Directors for Special Olympics New Hampshire, Eric Tinker.
So I have actually the best news. I am the last speaker before we can start eating hot dogs and hamburgers over there. So law enforcement has been with us from the very beginning. In fact, the law enforcement torch run was once our single largest source of income. And that financial support helped build the foundation of what Special Olympics is today. Because of law enforcement torch run, we were able to grow, expand opportunities, enhance programs, and invest in long-term success of our athletes. The impact of that fundraising continues to be profound, even as our organization grows each and every year. And while the dollars are critical, just as important is the visibility and the awareness and the example the police have set. By standing beside our athletes, you show the world what inclusion looks like in action. We are so proud of what we have accomplished together, and we know there's more to do. But today, let's take a moment to celebrate all the officers and law enforcement torch run. Big round of applause. And then I'll hand it back over to Chris.
Thank you, Eric. As we close, I want to leave you with this. As we gather today, we are reminded that true strength lies not in how far we run, but in who we run for. On behalf of our board, our athletes, and their families, thank you for walking and running beside us. Let's continue to carry the flame of hope forward together. Now please join us for burgers and hot dogs as we continue celebrating all the amazing work being done across New Hampshire. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful day.